All right, so continuing on, the form of energy and how does it change from one form to another, and how even solid matter is just a bunch of energy. So I was talking about the Large Hadron Collider, where scientists try to find what constitutes gravity, what is gravity, and what is matter, and what gives something weight. They still don't know what gives something weight.
Mass.
They don't even know what is mass. What makes mass? What makes a proton as mass? So they thought it was the proton in the beginning. Then they broke down the protons and found, okay, it's a bunch of other things came out. We don't know which actually. What is mass? What is the thing that gives people things mass, weight, and gravity? So at the end, it's all nothing. It's very mind-boggling. Again, that's beyond us. Let's go back again to us as the HVAC technician. What do we care? Energy comes from one form to another. Does not go to waste. There's no reason that it's just gone. No, where did it go? We have to always account for everything. That's called conservation of energy. That's also called, in a fancy term, the first law of thermodynamics. Same thing. First law of thermodynamics is basically conservation of energy. If I put fuel in my car, that fuel is energy. Where that energy came from? We can trace the story all the way from the sun. 99% of the energy on Earth comes from the sun. Period. The 1% is from the Earth cooling from the vapor. So 99% comes from the sun. Plants, animals, dinosaurs, fossil fuel, that's also all came from the sun. If there was no sun, there would be nothing that for us to use. So you put the fuel in your car, that at some point was solar power, change it to leaves, to dinosaurs, to oil, whatever. So that has energy, came from the sun. You burn that gallon of gasoline in your car. So you unleash the energy in it. There's something called combustion energy. You're not going to get 100% out of the energy in the gasoline, right? Probably you get 95. Other stuff just goes as waste. There's always byproduct, right? Byproduct. So 95% you got it into heat. This heat goes into your cylinder, into your motor, and expands. It burns. It needs a lot of heat, right? It pushes the piston down. It turns into mechanical power. Pistons up and down, changing this reciprocal motion into rotary, and moves the car. So the energy you put into your tank goes into your engine, moves the car, etc. How much out of the energy in the fossil fuel did you transform into what you actually need, which is moving the car? How much is the percentage?
Not much.
Shoot a number.
50%.
Close? Huh?
Lower.
Yeah.
35.
35 is exact. Around 33 to 35% out of the energy you put in your tank comes into mechanical power. 65 is all waste.
Yeah.
Yeah. The engine making a lot of heat coming out of your under the car that you don't need. You just dump it into the environment. You're not using the heat completely. So that's not efficient at all. That's why cars are not efficient at all. They're trying to make it better, but still, this heat coming out of your engine is waste. The only free thing you get to your car is the heater. Actually, using some of the heat to heat the cabin. But other than that, this mass amount of heat coming out of your muffler and your car is just waste. So diesel engines are more efficient because they absorb more heat. Anyway, going on. So talking about energy, we talk about the same idea now. I'm burning gas in my house, right? The gas is burning, or diesel is burning. You get 95% if you have really good, good combustion. You get, you can get up to 90. Sometimes, 90 is the best. From 75 to 90, that's called combustion efficiency. If you go to your basement, put in combustion, 75 to 90, that's combustion efficiency. I'm burning the fuel the best I can. Out of that, energy, so I lost already 10%. Good case scenario. There's something called thermal efficiency. How much of that heat did I absorb from the boiler into the water or air to heat the house? If I'm lucky and if it's a good system, it's around 80%. So I'm losing again another 20%. All the way from the basement to your room, you lose a lot of heat in the pipe or the duct system, you get maybe 70%. So you see all these losses account for something, and at the end you put in some energy. And our job is trying to get the most out of that energy, conserve it, because again, it's better and it's just waste. Waste is not good. So that's something we're trying to think about, and there's a big area of improvement. Now, 20 years ago, there was something called condensing boilers that were not that common. Their efficiency is better. Their thermal efficiency, not combustion efficiency. Combustion efficiency is how much heat can you get out of the fuel. That's theoretical, and it's going to be at least 90 or 95. It does not change. We'll worry about that later on. Thermal efficiency is how much am I absorbing out of that into my system. So it's a big area of improvement. So this is annual household usage of by region. Space heating, space cooling, water heating, appliances, and others. So this is the cost you're going to spend every year on your heating and cooling. It's a lot of money out of your pocket, and it's a necessity for life. I'm not even thinking about luxury life, just like a necessary, basic life to have hot water, shower, and wash your hands, and you have heat and cooling in your house. However, there's a lot of possibilities where we can cut that cost and maintain our comfort. We don't want to go live, we can maintain our lifestyle, however, we can improve it a little bit. Let's start with that. And nobody wants to completely abrupt their lifestyle, live in an igloo or something, you know? I'm not subscribing to that. I want to maintain my lifestyle, but I also want to have it efficient. So, okay, we all need transportation. So, it's logical. So with the current trend, it's not sustainable based on our resources. Again, depending on what do you read and where do you read it, and at what time things change. So current trends, market-driven conservation, that's what we're trying to aim for. And that's the environmental-driven conservation. If we want to actually please all the tree huggers, we have to go this low. If we want to have something that's reasonable with the market-driven, because market means what's available, what we can do. We have to lower. So it's wow, we're already here. We made it. I don't think I gotta go check the data. I don't think it's gonna be the same graph. But there's a lot of improvement. Solar is growing really fast in the US and Europe. So there's a lot of improvement, and things has changed a lot in terms of solar and renewable energies. Question.
Isn't it also a big thing the mini splits that are coming out? That's a big heating, cooling system. I think.
It depends again.
Because I know what those look like, 97% efficient.
Depends. Again, where do you read it and what are you reading? That's what you are going to learn here. How do you read it? What does it mean? What is the fine print? 97%, that's good, but it really, the efficiency dropped to 50% in the winter. Your power bills will go really high in January and February. So is it really reasonable? I don't think it's good to have it as a main source, especially in New England. They are not going to give you the efficiency again in the summertime or in places lower to DC area. It doesn't get that call. In here, again, you have to read the fine print to understand what they mean by efficiency and how. So, and that's why we're here. I'm going to explain efficiency to you over and over again, so you can read and create that label that they put on the energy efficiency appliances. Again, the number always comes with a fine print that they have to tell you. You look at an appliance and see that yellow nice print. Oh, this is going to cost you $37 a year. Look at the fine print that you need a magnifying glass to read. That based on 2 hours a day in this and this and this the kilowatt. So we will make those labels. Energy in the US, coal. Number one, coal is king. Still all over the world. Nobody feels coal. Coal is fossilized trees and dinosaurs. It's high energy density, very abundant, but it is the dirtiest fuel ever, and we're trying to make it cleaner by burning it better. Coal is the reason for mercury in fish and smog back in the 70s, and acid rains, etc., etc. So coal is still the most common source of fuel in the US in general. It's still very big in Germany, in China, in India. Coal is still the most common thing. We cannot completely get rid of coal anytime soon, maybe in 70 years or so. we can have less of it, but we will still need coal. We're not out of that yet. Germany has a very optimistic goal that by 2050 they'll be coal free. I think they can do it. Finland is already fossil fuel free as of this year. But again, Finland is like half the size of Massachusetts. So, what are we comparing? So it's different. Gas is second. Gas is becoming more and more popular. When they say gas, it's always, you don't know what's in the gas. Is it natural gas? Is it butane? Is it butane? Is it propane? It's different. It could be a blend. But could also be renewable. You can make gas. There are farms now that they make gas. They use that to make gas, capture gas and methane and make it into something that you can use. Ethanol. Ethanol is probably your car has ethanol now in it. If you go to the gas station, it says 10% ethanol. And if you buy a Ford that has flex fuel in it, it can take up to 20% ethanol. I don't know if you know that or not, but the Model T first came to run on ethanol, moonshine. Then, okay, this is a big conspiracy theory now. Then they came with prohibition to cut down alcohol, and that's when big oil company came, and they said, no, this car's gonna run on gasoline, even though the Model T was designed to run on ethanol. I don't know, there's a documentary about it in PBS. I don't know if it's correct, but it makes sense. Anyways, you can run your car ethanol, all in all. So we can run cars on completely ethanol if we can produce it properly. Moonshine. Renewable, we have solar, wind, geothermal, and bio. What is bio? Bio is becoming more common, especially in the Northeast because we have a lot of farmland here. So bio can be biodiesel. We can make diesel out of corn. We can also brew tree bark and leaves and make alcohol out of it. That alcohol can be, it's not going to be drinking grade, it's going to be like for running cars and mixing with gasoline. So that's again biofuel. I know few students around your age started their own biodiesel company, where they go around and collect all the fine oil from restaurants and refine it and sell it as biodiesel. Diesel fuel has the same properties exactly as peanut oil. So if you have a diesel car, you can put peanut oil in it. A few adjustments and it should run fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't really want to try that.
No, if you refine the oil very well and you can just adjust the combustion, and if it's a fuel injection, probably you can't. But if you have a carburetor, probably it's really easy to do. Very, very easy. If you adjust, you can look it up in YouTube.
Right.
But peanut oil is expensive unless you get it cheap from somewhere. Where like you're dumping it and you take it and you burn it. So it is possible. Again, another conspiracy theory. Rudolf Diesel, the guy who invented the diesel engine, his name is Rudolf Diesel, he's German. He designed the engine to run on peanut oil. So he went to a conference in England and disappeared. A few years later, they made a petroleum product and they called it diesel. After him, to run his diesel engine. Nobody knows that the engine was designed actually to run peanut oil.
You know, they're supposed to come out with electric cars way earlier, but
The EV1?
yeah, but the big fuel companies.
Well, it makes sense, come
There's a lot
on.
of conspiracy.
It makes sense, you gotta get people with like bread and butter.
Like instead of all the big,
As,
7-liter motors.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
I mean,
they're supposed to come out with them.
Scientists say if we continue with was it Jimmy Carter who started all the green stuff? Yeah, after the embargo?
I think so.
Yeah, so Jimmy Carter started the whole like green initiative with solar stuff and everything. Then whoever came after him, it was Reagan, cut everything down. And they said if they continued that process, right now we would have been at least 50% oil free. But it takes time, research, improvement. Like as we said last class, you buy something that's brand new, it's expensive, it's inefficient, but then you keep improving it. The hybrid, Toyota were very visionary. They started the Prius in 2000. They knew this was going to happen, and this is the best running hybrid in the market because it started way early. They invested in that. Nobody had it, but they did it very well. It takes time to improve and perfect things and make them affordable. So it takes time. Here is our energy consumption in hot climate versus cold climate. Mostly space cooling. Cooling is way less cheaper than heating because, again, as who was saying, Mini splits are, and AC's efficiency has increased a lot since the 70s or 80s. They're more efficient, they're more quieter, and it costs less. Light and appliances, 18%. That's also going down now, especially with the LEDs. LEDs came really far away from what they used to. Water heating also came down. It used to be 25% of your consumption. People used to have those big, large tanks and they heat them and let them sit in the basement for the whole day when you only use it to shower in the morning. So that doesn't make sense at all. So we have alternatives, we'll talk about it. The fridge, the refrigerators. This is 10% of your energy. Running 24/7 all year round. The fridge costs around $1,000 a year to run, and sometimes between $500 to $1,000. And we have stuff that we never eat. So if you go to Europe, it's really funny. Not a lot of people have fridges, and if they do, it's very small. It's less dorm fridges.
They do a lot of cellar storage.
Yeah, and also they buy things for the weekend. That's it. You know, they don't let it sit there for a long time. Not a lot of freezing, because it's again, why would you? Things lose their nutrient value when they're refrigerated. And probably things that have long shelf life, they have a lot of preservative. So again, you can cut a lot of energy by having a smaller fridge and just plan your diet accordingly. But again, we have big freezers with a lot of frozen food in it that we don't eat. So it's again, think about it, it's 10% of your energy cost. Space heating, that's in what's called hot climate. Maybe 20% or sometimes even more. Cold climate, this is before, has improved a little bit. So heating of space is around 60% of your energy. In the winter, my bill from gas goes from, in the summer it's $20 to like 170. So that's big portion of my cost. So this is after when we optimize both hot and cold, how we can make it more efficient. Where do you think you're losing energy?
For your windows,
Yeah,
for your floor.
windows, floor, walls, opening,
Yeah.
vents.
Or insulation.
Yeah, also heating the house when you're not there. Optimization, heating places you don't need, heating rooms that are empty. So these are getting better and they do shave up a lot of your energy bill. Alright, some more. These are the peaks, usually the summer and winter and where you lose a lot of energy, and you have your fall and your spring where weather is nice and you do use a lot of energy. So, thermal improvement is one thing we have to do, and it's something that you can put once and forget about it. Like, for example, you can do wall insulation, and we'll talk about what are the possible ways to retrofit things. And it's always better to put things in the beginning, instead of doing it later. But buy things with good quality, buy things that will last. Instead of buying something that's cheap and has not a lot of insulation, and you have to go back. You have to go later and retrofit that. The problem is, people used to make those commercial houses because they're gonna rent them out. Let the renter deal with it. You know, I'm gonna give you a house, rent your house for $500 a month. Actually, that's a lie. It's not. $1,000 a month, but you're gonna pay $700 in heating bill. So it's not my problem. I'm gonna make a really crappy house with inefficient appliances and let you just foot the bill. You know. So now the state and the town are intervening into, okay, you can't rent the house unless this house is efficient, and we have a minimum amount of efficiency, because until they're gonna rent the house from you, he's gonna be happy with paying $700 rent, but then he's gonna pay $1,000 in heat, and he's not gonna freaking fix the windows because it's not his property, unless he. So it's an issue. He can go apply for MassSave, but it's for you to go and apply for the fittings and do all the work. It's inconvenient. So now, this is actually, I believe personally, it's a good intervention that homeowners should take care of their property. Make it efficient. Not let the tenant foot the bill all the time. Thermal improvement, replace all appliances. We can improve the appliances that now, again, nobody wants to freaking foot the bill for $8,000 furnace replacement and whatever comes with it. So there are some incentives, there are some money in the state for them to replace, because they figured out that's gonna be good for you, good for them to produce and provide gas. They are required by law to provide you with power and gas. So they're gonna provide for everybody, and if they cut down your spending, they'll cut down their production. You know, there are some plants, if you take power plants, there are some power plants sitting there completely functioning and all in idle position, just on emergencies when something goes down. So they are staffed, equipped, maintained, it's on standby. So that's a lot of cost. If we have something efficient and lower demand, probably we don't need that. Replace all the heating systems, cooling systems that can be improved. All the ACs are very inefficient. They cost a lot of money. But again, I would pay extra $20 a month than to pay $3,000 up front. So that was a cost analysis between what is doable and what's not. Lighting, that's the easiest thing to replace. We went really far from incandescent lights, the cheap one for $1, because the fluorescent light got cheaper now, the comparative price. They used to be $20 a piece, remember? In the 90s when it first came out, the CE Phil, the compact fluorescent light, $20 a piece, $15. When I was in college, that was years ago, it was $10, and you can get a coupon for $7. Now you can get them for $1 a piece. LEDs are becoming cheaper. Again, when they first came out, they were about $20 a piece. Now they are getting better. Now my favorite are the smart LEDs, where you can turn them on and off by your phone. That's pretty awesome. So again, they're around $5 now. It's not that bad. I'm sure it's gonna be cheaper and cheaper. Electrical devices, what I mean by that, appliances. You can get appliances that you use for a long time to be more efficient. Mainly the fridge, dishwasher, laundry and dryer. Although, even though you think the laundry machine or the dryer or the oven, they consume a lot of energy, they're not a big factor when it comes to your energy consumption. Why?
It's not on all the time.
Yeah, how often do you use the oven? Once a week? It's nothing. You know, even though it consumes a lot of energy, it's not that much. Microwave consumes a lot of energy there. It's only 2 minutes. So you're gonna do a function analysis, is it worth it or not? So I'm gonna do an example on how much it costs to make cookies. Just running equipment optimization is very important. Like, we need things running all the time. There's a lot of motion sensors now. There are a lot of timers. So this class has a motion sensor. If we leave the class in 15 minutes, we shut off the light in case somebody forget. So it will just become automated. Those automated devices help us a lot optimize our running. Inform argument about energy cost and consumption. They don't. Human factor is a big thing. People do not get it. Now you get it because you're going to school for that. But people usually do not get it. Leaving the window open while the heater is on is costing you a lot of money. This window with a big hole in it and leaks is costing you a lot of money. So that's why they always put the label with $sign in it. People understand money. So when you go there with a calculator and tell them, hey, by the way, you're losing $20 a month now, but just by having this crappy window. I had a person trying to change their furnace, upgrade their furnace, and I looked at their window. They have single pane, wood frame, old windows. Look, you know what? You're better off just changing the windows than changing the furnace. I will invest more in the windows than the furnace because this is a lot of energy being spilled outside.
But, I mean, even if we were replacing the windows, like, still again, I mean, it's still a window, it still has a, you know, it's all based on how it's sealed and stuff, so still energy is still leaving the window.
Not as much. You will leave most of your energy is left from the window.
Right.
Windows you worst energy.
And wood windows too.
Huh?
Single
Wood
pane.
windows?
Yeah.
Single pane window, there's
Yeah.
nothing there.
Yeah.
If it was up to us as an HVAC technician, we don't want windows. But nobody wants to live in a house with no windows.
What's the revenue windows?
Just get an efficient window, curtains, and caulk, and just deal with it. You
Now
get-
I'm seeing they're making triple pane.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that much. It's not even the glass, it's the frame and the siding and all those kind of
House
things.
installed.
There's
So-
a new product to solve
Huh?
that. It's called Thermal Buck. You put it around the window before you frame it.
Yeah.
Or no, after you frame it, and then you stick the window in it, and it's really efficient stuff.
Yeah.
you know.
Also the mechanical part, the one that opens and closes, they're also going to leak some stuff. Some people, they go with the plastic cover around the window in the winter. That looks ugly. We have a whole week about windows. A whole week about windows and how to minimize the evil
I have
forces.
a
of
story
windows.
of how, human factor is an issue. I was working on a apartment complex and they were complaining that they were using too much heat. And I went inside and all the windows were open this much.
Oh.
Dead of winter.
Wow.
And they're saying, oh, I don't know why it keeps getting cold in here. The heat's cranked all the way up. And just look at the window and you can see wind blowing
Yeah.
in from outside.
Some people just don't get it, and it's for you to really try to approach him and tell him, hey, but this is not really doing what it's supposed to. I have a friend actually who their house was running. Whoever installed the furnace messed up the wiring, so the AC comes up with the heater at the same time. So the entire winter, the furnace is running and also the compressor outside. Then they just noticed the house is not really heating up. So somebody came, okay, by the way, your compressor is running all the time. What do you hear? It's just like bouncing each other out. So again, check when you do service calls, check your work. Don't just leave. Spend at least half an hour. Make sure it's working right. And it's a good practice to go and check 2 days later. That is really good practice. Include that in the bill. 2 days later, I'm gonna come and check that everything is okay. Don't just leave. Reduce losses in heating and cooling. That's something also we can do. Sometimes there is no way around replacing the equipment. You took it to the top and the max. Eventually, you have to replace that. I'll stop here and finish up the rest on Monday. Please check your Blackboard, make sure you get the PowerPoints, and make sure also that you submit the first homework. And you have